Hi, it's Anne from Unity Physiotherapy and Wellbeing. In this video, we'll explore fears, blocks and resistances to compassion. These are normal, part of being human, a combination of our evolved tricky brain, previous experiences and also misunderstandings of compassion. So our brains have evolved for protection. We have a negativity bias, a better safe than sorry approach. And this gets really upregulated by certain things, including the way that our society is now, and especially things like previous experiences. So remember, it's normal to have fears, blocks and resistances to compassion. It's part of being human. And they can show up in more than one of the three flows of compassion. So that's compassion to others, compassion from others, and compassion for the self too. So let's take a quick look at some examples of fears, blocks and resistances. So fears are commonly things like fear of vulnerability, fear of judgment, fear of being taken advantage of, fear of being overwhelmed by the stress or suffering of ourselves or others. There are a number of fears. These are common ones. Blocks are things like not maybe having the time or resources or energy, not knowing how, so for example, how to behave, what to say, and also having misunderstandings of compassion. And this really links into the myths of compassion. And then resistances are things like unhelpful inner beliefs often, and it can be things like, I don't deserve compassion, or not seeing yourself as worthy if you're not perfect. And a quick note here that's important, we don't need to do anything to deserve compassion. And this is often linked into early life experiences and shame. So as I mentioned, these link into myths. And I did a myths of compassion video. You can check this out in the compassion playlist on my YouTube channel. Let's now check out a few of these common myths. So there's a myth that compassion is soft and weak. Obviously it's not, because it's a myth. Compassion takes great strength and courage. But it links into the fears, blocks and resistances. Things like fear of being taken advantage of, or fear of being judged negatively in some way. And that could be as being seen as weak. Compassion being self-indulgent or selfish, which again, obviously it's not, because it's a myth. And this can be linked into things like people pleasing, or always putting the needs of others first, and things like beliefs about not feeling good enough. And then a myth about compassion will make me complacent, will let accountability of things like bad behaviour slide for ourselves and others. And again, it won't, because it's a myth. And it really holds us accountable, compassion. And this is linked into a fear of not growing without criticism. It's also linked into other blocks and resistances. So there are many ways that the myths are linked in here. An understanding of compassion and previous experiences and our beliefs are all important. So it matters for many reasons. Having awareness of our own fears, blocks and resistances means that it opens up space for something else to grow. We all have compassion innate within us. It's an innate capacity that we have, and there's a set of skills that we can grow and nurture. And by bringing awareness to the fears, blocks and resistances, it enables us to do that. So I think it's important to bring that awareness, and if you'd like to, you can reflect on what might be your fears, blocks and resistances in each of the three flows. You could ask which flow is easiest and which is hardest. The one that's most difficult might have associated fears, blocks and resistances. You could see what sorts of thoughts and beliefs come up, what sorts of feelings. I did a Flows of Compassion video, which has a somatic practice in with some of these reflection prompts, so you can check that out in the compassion playlist if it's of interest. So in summary, it's really important to bring awareness to these fears, blocks and resistances so that we can grow and nurture compassion. And they can come from many different places. Our evolved tricky brains our previous experiences, social and cultural conditioning, internalised messages, protective beliefs, misunderstandings about compassion. There are many sources of fears, blocks and resistances, and two big ones are our evolved brain and our previous experiences, and then the misunderstandings of compassion too. So as always, I would love to hear any reflections that you're happy to share. Do let me know in the comments, and take care.